So, you excited for the session?
Super excited, man.
So, what was your name
Been
again?
watching a lot of your Canal.
Kanal. All
Yep.
right, Kanal. So, where are you from, man?
I live in America, New Jersey, but I'm Indian.
Okay. So, can you see my screen all good?
Yeah, I see it.
Sweet, sweet. So, is it Kunal or Kumal?
The first one.
Kunal. Okay, Kunal. All right. So, what am I looking at here, Kanal? What are we looking at? Talk me through some of these past seasons as well. What do we got here?
Yeah, so I played in the past quite a bit. Season 4, you can see. Um, I was grinding pretty hard back then. I played mostly AD carry. And then, I slowly was transitioning to mid lane. I really like playing mages, not really an assassin type player. And then after season 6, I left college and got a job, so I stopped playing for a couple of years. But found some time recently, so I decided to get back into it. Grinded out a ton of games this season, but hard stuck gold, I feel like I know some of my shortcomings, but definitely looking to see if you can maybe give me some other insight onto, what I'm doing well and incorrectly and that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, out of interest, what from your own watching your own VODs and your own assessment of your gameplay, what do you think are some of the things that you're good and maybe need a bit of work on?
Right. So I think I'm good at I think like I'm like a jack of all trades, let's put it that way. I'm not like excellent at any one thing. I'm pretty good at lane. I'm pretty good at team fighting. I'm pretty good at like get CSing, that sort of stuff. What I think I lack in a few areas, I think it's map awareness for sure. Like I started watching some of your jungle tracking videos whenever they came out a while back. And I found it incredibly difficult to do. I could maybe track the jungler for like the first clear and a half or so, and then I kind of lose sight of them. I found that really, really hard. So then, following that, it came down to like putting vision out correctly, putting it out frequently, checking the mini map and not tunneling in on what I'm trying to accomplish, my champion. And then playing TF, you need really good vision of the side lanes and the map and all that stuff. So I was trying, actively to do that, but I feel like I always ebb and flow. Some games I do it really well, and then other games tunnel really hard.
Right. Okay. So awareness overall of just teammates, enemy location, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of like I get like a goal in mind that like I should be doing X, and then I hate not doing what I set out to do.
Hmm.
So you'll see that in the VOD a few
Hmm.
times.
Okay. Just quickly taking a look at some of your stats. So what's in your champion pool right now in terms of ranked? What's your go-to champs right now?
Right. TF, Malzahar, Oriana.
They're
Those
your
are my
three.
three.
Okay. Now, the first thing that I'm seeing here is the CS is okay. It's not terrible. It could be a bit better. Like whenever I see if it's 6 plus, it's not bad. Like it's average. I would say it's at an average level. If we can bump that up a little bit more, to about a 6.5, nearing towards 7, then you'll notice the quality of your games get a lot nicer as well. But that's just something I'm also just quickly looking at. And this is quite a nice CS score as well on Oriana. It's a bit better. I think it's quite standard, a little bit above standard for gold, which is good. Now, um, yeah, this is going to be an interesting session because you've been playing for quite a while. You've watched a bit of my content. You're a bit of a TF player, so it'll be interesting to kind of see what fundamentals you do and you don't have down pat. Now, again, the way I want to do this session is very. I want to get to understand what you're thinking in the game. I want you to run me through a lot of this early laning phase. Talk to me about what are some of the things you are focusing on. Where is your attention focused in this game, so I can get a better sense of what you are considering, what aren't you considering, and then I'll start to see the gaps in knowledge or some areas that we need to focus on. All right.
For sure, for sure.
Cool. So diving straight in here, this is a bit of a tricky matchup actually. TF into Victor. It is a bit of a tricky matchup, so it is something to it would be a good one to look at. Now, what is your
Yep.
take on when you go into a game like this? What are we thinking heading into game?
I'm thinking to start. I'm looking at the jungler and the mid lane and all that. So we're both mages. We both want to scale a little bit. I want to scale a little bit. He wants to scale more. Zach can't really do that much early. Volibear potentially can. So my goal here is just, minimize. Maybe the jungler comes ganks pre-6. I think our level 5 is pretty good. Level 6, just start roaming. I feel like their bot is super juicy. Jin and Misfortune really good place to gank. I'm looking at that Urgot and Fiddlesticks matchup, and I'm just like, I don't want to go top lane.
Yeah, I definitely feel with you on that one. I don't think you're going to be able to influence this top matchup. But like you said, this is a really juicy duo bot for you. Two immobile champions, super, and great gank setup and gank follow up. If you land your stun,
Like,
they can follow up. If you land you really easily, and more importantly, when they are 6 as well, great gank setup. Now,
yep.
one
And
thing.
then the other thing I was thinking about was we have Fiddle, Blitz, and Zach, who's like some AP.
Hmm,
So I went Omni Stone for the hybrid TF. I don't want to go full AP here.
okay, cool. The other thing straight away heading into the game, the first thing I like to think about what summoners do they take. Because this Victor's actually opted in for TP and not cleanse, there's a considerable amount of threat that you have onto this Victor. So this is a game where Omnistone is really good because you can probably play the game very fast paced. I don't think you can afford to play this lane very slow and calculated because you're just going to get poked out. So I actually like Omnistone this game, and it's great that he hasn't taken cleanse. There's a lot of threat there as well. By the way, in these games where I already know that we have a lot of hard CC, so Fiddle has got a bit of hard CC, Varus has hard CC, and you hard CC. I don't like taking Ignite. I'm just not a
Okay.
fan. I If you want to do this Omnistone thing, I prefer Ghost in this situation because the way I see it
Okay.
is there's a very high chance that this guy or even the AD carry takes cleanse.
Got you.
And so then it becomes double value because you can cleanse the ignite and you can cleanse the stun.
Okay. That
I'm just
makes
not a fan
sense.
of that. And more importantly, I feel like this is one of those games where I mean you can kite a lot of these champions and you can just move around. I just feel like the mobility in this game is going to be super nice as well. But that's just a preference thing. But it is something I'm thinking about in terms of champions. Like, do we have a lot of CC? Do I think they're going to take cleanse? If they're going to take cleanse, then I don't like going ignite. That's just a preference thing.
Okay. Makes sense.
All right. So you said you were duo this game, is that right?
Yeah, this is actually my duo.
I don't think we're going to listen to comms because I think we'll get a little bit cluttered in terms of
Yeah.
the volume and things like that. But it'd be good to kind of let me know what you guys roughly with the gear in this game as well, though.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's just.
So here is so tragic. I want to talk about this. So
Mm,
like I
mm,
feel like I'm TF. I want to be right behind the Blitzcrank,
mm-hmm,
and then the game kind of just auto pats me behind everyone, and then you see right there I like
mm.
step out of the bush trying to step forward, and then Misfortune sees us. So I'm
Where?
like, what am I supposed to do here? Yeah, just look at this. See, it like put me in the back, and I'm trying to move up, and then I step out of the brush right there.
I don't think they see you though.
Yeah, look right there, right
There,
there.
but they wouldn't have
And
seen
then
you there.
MF throws her E at that blast plant.
Uh,
So I'm like, I want to be behind the blitz, and then it pushes me all the way in the back. It's like, oh, this is so
well,
tragic.
that's just character block. Yeah, that's just the way it
Yeah.
works. I don't think that if you are really wanted to be a bit careful, I don't think that's the reason he used E, by the way. I think MF already had walked in and watered this earlier or something
Oh,
like that. Because I'm pretty sure they know you're using a Blitzcrank, so a lot of people just suspect invades. That's just one thing.
okay.
I don't think, even if you stepped out of the bush when you did, it was all the way down here. They wouldn't be able to see it. So it's not the problem. But if you are,
Okay.
let's just say you are in this situation where you do want to get around the champions, this is where you have to be very specific on your clicks. You don't just click here. Say you're here and you just click here, because then it's going to just path you like here.
Right.
What you need
Right.
to do is you need to like see if you can see the models, and then you need to somehow. Sometimes you can like click really close to the models and like find a way to get through. But that's just very small micro stuff. You don't really find yourself in these situations often. But I don't think that was the
Okay.
case, by the way. I'm pretty sure they just warded it and it suspected that you guys were going to invade, but
Yep.
it's
Yep.
not too bad. Cool. So yes, let's step me through this, Kunal.
Yes, I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't get the level 2 advantage. Keep the lane ideally in the middle or closer to my side in the beginning. I don't think Zach is going to be doing too much against Volibear. try and get some harass, but miss. But anyway.
Yeah, I like it. Now, one little thing that you need to understand about mages in general, high cooldown mages. Victor, Vel'Koz, Xerath, a lot of those high cooldown mages, Lux, all of them, they thrive when they have push on the enemy. Unless they're
Okay.
versing a very heavy gank oriented champion. Because well, the way it works is if they are the ones pushing in, they don't have to focus as much on CS and they can direct all their attention on poking the enemy with ease and things like that. But if they're the ones getting pushed in, it's very annoying for Victor because Victor then has to think about CSing, has to worry about you walking up. And what you'll actually find is when you push into any of these champions like Xerath, Vel'Koz, Victor, whatever, you're gonna have a lot easier time surviving the poke because the Victor's gonna have
Okay.
to direct so much attention onto the minions. So that's just a little principle. Sometimes it's not possible, purely because you can't match the wave clear. But it is something I like to do against a lot of these mages. Now, another little quick thing here. I don't want to go too in depth here because you were gold. Was it gold 4, gold 3? What are
I'm
you now?
gold two after I
Gold
played a
2.
couple
Sorry.
games trying to get a rod.
So I don't want to go too crazy and too in depth in the micro, although because I just don't think that is going to be the best way to get the most value out of the session. But I want to kind of talk about more about the fundamentals. A fundamental of laning I have seen, because the way I see it, there's two elements to perfecting laning. The first one is champion mastery, right? So the first bit is just understanding what sort of trades or what your champion likes to do in lane, whether it's prefers the wave pushing, likes to heavy trade, likes to play the lane really fast, that sort of thing. This is all just champ mastery stuff. Then you've got the second element is just the actual lane fundamentals, right? So these are two separate categories. Now the lane fundamentals are things like poking the enemy when they walk up for CS, playing around the enemy cooldowns, leaning onto one side of the lane, positioning outside the minion wave, so they have to make a choice between you and the minions. All these are all like the lane fundamentals. Now, straight away, the first thing I see here, and this has been a very common thing that I've pointed out in pretty much all of my coaching sessions, is that people don't play around cooldowns very well. So what happens is that they see the enemy use abilities like
So
this.
what I'm gonna tell you is I was watching your video and you told the guy like play more aggressive
Mm,
because their laner just burnt a bunch of
mm,
cooldowns. And I was trying to implement that in this
mm,
game too. Like after he uses E, I try and run at him with
yeah.
my W and stuff like that. And then once he has Q though, I feel like taking that trade just not worth it. I feel like the Q has to be down for the trade to be more worth it.
I, I actually don't think so. I've actually played this matchup a lot from both sides. I'm a Victor player and TF player. As a Victor player, I hate it. I mean, I love it. Sorry, if these guys play, I love it if the TF plays defensive and lets me play the lane very slow. Like I said, you've actually gone the right tree by going corrupting pot, and you can actually heavy trade. I actually love heavy trading versus Victors and playing the lane very, very fast, going for an early Dark Seal base, purely because Victor needs a long extended laning phase to get that 1150 gold to go for that first upgrade. You don't want that
Okay.
to happen. You don't want Victor to get this long extended laning phase. It's the exact same when you're versing any scaling mage, Oriana, any of these. They don't want chaos in the early game. But TF is very adaptable, very versatile champion. You can play however you need to play. Um, so I would like my mindset in these sorts of lanes is like I'm just gonna play it faster. I'm happy to heavy trade with you. If you as long as Victor uses E, not on me, I'm happy to take the WQ trade onto Victor, even though he has the shield. Ideally, you wait for the shield to dissipate a little bit and then walk up. But still, I'm still really trying to put the pace and make sure Victor's burning through that mana pool. Because if you play very slow, Victor's actually going to out sustain you because he's got Doran's, and Doran's works better in long extended lanes because it has mana regen, right?
For sure, for sure.
So
Yeah, so
this,
my thought here was also, because I'm doing the Omnistone build, I want that revolver first
mm,
back. I
mm,
wasn't really playing for the Dark Seal first back, but what you said makes a lot more sense to me
Did,
because I
yeah.
should probably consider his objective, which is the 1150.
Well, in my Omnistone TF guide, I actually talk about early bases in the
Yeah,
item
you said
section.
Dark Seal and Ruby
Yeah,
Crystal
Dark
is
Seal,
Dark
Ruby Crystal,
Crystal.
or even just Dark Seal, just sitting on a Dark Seal, that sort of thing is actually really good for TF. And that's
Right.
what Jebsu does a lot because he wants to push the pace of the game. And a lot of these matchups, if you play scaling, you're going to lose.
Yep.
Yes, if you're in a very easy matchup where you're not going to get poked, or maybe you're versing something that you can't contest early, maybe you're versing like a Syndra or something that you really can't bully out early, then yeah, that's fine. Or you just lose trades, that's fine. You can play for the revolver. But otherwise, like in these matchups, I love playing aggressive. That's just the way
Yep,
I
for
like to do
sure.
it. But yeah, you're
So
right.
you think you think just walk at him like with W and it's fine.
Well, okay. I would obviously wait for him to use E. So if we go all the way back
Yeah.
here, so in these
Uh,
situations here, so right now, I already know most likely that Victor's going to walk up and look for this CS. Here, I might potentially get in his face or wait a little bit, try and focus on dodging that E. Now, I'll probably walk up and like look to AoE red card, that sort of thing. Make it really annoying for Victor. But here, you're playing very defensively for no reason type thing. Because you can
yep,
easily tether the Victor Q. The Victor Q is actually really low range. Um, but yeah, even
that's
like
true.
these situations here, like you just posture, walk up aggressively, a little bit more aggressively. But it's not a massive deal. It's just in terms of just optimizing the way this lane actually pans out. Because at the end of the day, at level 6, you're still going to be able to get the roams off, and Victor's not going to be able to do much about it.
Yeah.
And I do like that you're focusing a lot on the wave in terms of thinning it, because if you don't thin these waves with red cards and blue cards and auto attacks, you're going to get pushed in, and then it is going to be very, very hard to navigate.
Exactly.
I just think that you are playing very defensive, and you
Right.
haven't used a
And
single
I agree
corrupting
with
pot.
you. I agree with you. I'm looking at the vibe for a third time now, and I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
this is actually too passive.
Like
I
it's
think the
not.
other thing is I didn't have time to like get a ward out either because we've just been
Hmm.
pushing the lane back and forth.
That's actually a misconception. I want to talk about that because I get this question a lot actually. So the first thing, what do we see? We know that Volibear started blue. We saw Volibear on the ward. So we know Volibear is going to do some form of 3 camp to top side shenanigans. I don't know. So ideally, like I say in my videos, want to be warding between like 2 minutes 30, 2 minutes 40. Um, like right now, like especially in these little windows here, he just uses E. You can actually be leaning over here, preparing your ward. Because you're leaning on this side, it doesn't really it doesn't really matter what side you're leaning to right now, essentially, because
Yeah.
Volibear is not going to be here. Sometimes what I like to do is I'm already leaning on top side, knowing that this is going to be the side that I want to get my ward onto. Because it's super easy to go from here. Let me draw on the minimap. If I'm like here on that side of the lane, to just duck into vision, get that ward on the ramp from there to there. It literally takes 2
Right.
seconds.
Makes
You're not
sense.
going to miss any creeps a lot of the time. So you don't need to have the wave necessarily shoved in. It's as long as you're not getting shoved in. And a lot of this laning phase has just been sitting in the middle regardless. So
Okay.
it's actually a misconception that you need to push in, if that makes sense, to like get the ward
Yeah.
down.
Yep. I got you.
So yeah, this whole time you could have just been leaning on the top side and just quickly duck out, get that ward, and then come back. One when the minion's
Okay.
actually high HP.
Yeah.
So
I thought leaning on the bot side was just good because I know Volley's going to be top side.
yeah, I mean, if you don't want to ward, if your intention was not to ward, or maybe use your ward level 1, that sort of thing, I think it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that's just another little optimization thing there. Now, another little thing here, if you are looking to say you are looking to play a little bit more aggressively and take those nicer trades, you should always be looking to time your trades with your E. So the way I like to do it is like, okay, in these situations, I'll wait for Victor to use the laser, and I'll focus a lot of my attention on dodging that laser by alternating my dodging patterns, going back and forth, whatever it is, not making my movements really obvious. Beautiful. I like how you're trying to dodge it. He misses. Now walk up. And I won't necessarily... So right there in this situation, instead of walking up and red carding, I would probably auto attack here, posture very aggressively, get my stack deck, then walk up. And if he doesn't go in range, he doesn't want to take the trade with me, that's fine. Then I can red card or whatever and play for the wave. But as long as I'm posturing aggressively, because what this is actually going to do, what this actually does, by the way, is if you posture aggressively when he's eased down, he's either going to walk up to you, take the Q trade, in which, you know, it's going to be a heavy trade, which is going to be somewhat decent for you because you've got stacked deck, W, and here, if you didn't use W, you'd have W as well. So you're going to win that trade, actually. But more importantly, say he does respect and he doesn't take the Q trade, he's going to have to give you space and control over the wave, and that's going to allow you to get shove or have minion control advantage over Victor. Then that's
So
what. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, it makes perfect sense. And what I was thinking at this time at 3 minutes, if I walked up to him and he walked at me,
Hmm.
that probably means that Volley's coming or Volley's in the area,
Right.
and my Zac still is not done blue.
Gotcha.
So I was just like, right now is probably not the time to do that.
Fair enough, man. Gotcha. So yeah, we can kind of see how there's all like these little things kind of tying in together with the warding, with the trading. Again, all this stuff is little optimizations that can really turn the way the lane pans out. But I totally agree. Given your situation right now, given you haven't got the wards out, you kind of can't. You kind of can't really go for the get. But one other thing though, something to think about. Volibear's ganks are really bad. Like even if you went for that trade and you're leaning on bot side, I don't think Volley can gank you. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think
I
there's kill
think
threat?
because he has that charge ability or whatever, and he'll get to me. What if he like charges and flashes onto me?
Mm,
I like my flash reaction time is really bad. So I don't like flashing
mm.
for his flash.
Okay. I mean, I like that you're thinking about the jungle timing because it's 3 minutes and Volibear obviously could be doing something, potentially walk into river, whatever. One thing I do want you to think about, just as a principle as well, is it's really good that you think about jungle, but I want you to also think about the gank setup and the actual level of kill threat. If you're leaning onto one side, knowing that Volibear's on top side, a lot of the time it's very hard for a jungle with no reliable gap closer, in combination with a champion that has no gank setup, no hard CC. It's very hard to get a gank off. I feel
Okay.
like if it's a Rek'Sai or at least Sin where they can war jump or close the gap with a tunnel or that sort of thing, at least repel, flash E, that sort of thing, maybe. I'm not too familiar with the new reworked Volibear, but the way I see it is like this. If you're in the jungler's shoes right now and you pan your camera mid and you see this, it's not really tantalizing or anything, is it? It's not like, oh, Victor's not
Right,
really going
right.
to, he's leaning onto the bot side. Even if he takes a trade, he can easily kind of walk out. Like, it doesn't seem like it's super scary. But again, rather than talking about the specific, I want to, like, yeah, more like the principle. How vulnerable are you to that gank? And just
Okay.
having a rough thought, overarching, or what do you call it? It's just like a rough thought process about the level of threat. And generally, that's where you've got to take into account, okay, what's their level of gank setup? Are they got a Lissandra? Are they playing Syndra, something with hard CC, or Pike mid, whatever, with a lot of gank setup? Or are they playing Victor or Oriana or something with barely anything? So just something to
Got
think
you.
about.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But so far, I mean, all this stuff, none of it's game losing. Like, you're still in a really good spot because Victor's not really punishing you. You're sitting on 3 pots. You're not really punishing Victor, but like in this situation as well, like after he uses E like this, you've got bone plating. You can actually just walk up and trade. Like
Yeah.
you soak so much damage with bone plating. You got your stacked deck. Just take the trade. Take the extended trade. W's coming in 2 seconds. Maybe you can walk up, auto attack Q with your crafty pot, chase with the movement speed, get a kill. Again, is scared of the Volibear, same thing. But I'm just saying all these little trades are adding up. He's
It
trading
is.
onto you, and you're just not trading back.
I
And it's
agree.
gonna add
Fully
up over
agree.
time.
It is, yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is
after that trade,
exactly what Victor
I know I
wants.
felt so bad. I was just like, I know I could have just done something
Mm,
about this. And
mm,
then after it happened, I'm just like, ah, I need to stop playing so passive.
yeah. And I think, like I said, it might even just be because it's not that you're unable to do it. It's more like your thought process, your mindset in this game is coming in. Like you wanted to play for 1050 gold. So
Yeah,
that's what's determining your decision making. I'm assuming is that you don't. It's like you want to play safe. You want to get to this amount of gold, right?
exactly. That,
Yeah,
and I also knew my Zach finally did his camp, and
yeah,
I was calling him to come mid, but he went top instead.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So like this does come with time, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of champion identity. When you play a champion enough, you will start to understand your limits, because it's like if you watch okay, so when I teach a champion, when you first learn a champion, I like to learn it one specific style. So if say you get introduced to Twist of Fate, the best way to play it is play the AP Twist of Fate. You farm to 1100 gold, you get your catalyst, you play for level 6 rooms, that sort of thing. Once you start to become a lot more familiar with Twist of Fate, then you can start to branch out, try Electrocute with Ignite, playing quite aggressively, get a Blasting One first item instead, play Omnistone CF, play for an early Dark Seal base, and you're going to start to like push your limits a little bit more and understand which matchups and how to optimize the champion. So I think you're at the point now where you've actually got a considerable amount of games as Twisted Fate. You need to start thinking less about now. I mean, you understand your champion, but you need to think about just little ways to optimize because you've played a lot of games of Twisted Fate over the past few seasons as well. You just start thinking about, okay, what champion am I versing? How can I adapt my gameplay to optimize what's happening in this game? And this will come with time in terms of just like experience. But I want you to also use the Discord community and ask questions about what do you guys think about how this matchup's played out, or that sort of thing. Send me a DM, that sort of thing. I'm happy to give you a bit of feedback. But and this is what else.
Absolutely.
Did you watch that other coaching session, the Platinum Twist of Fate?
I think I got through like three-fourths or half of it or something.
And like, so you probably know, like, one of the biggest things with that guy, I felt like his problem was because your default response is to play defensive. It's really hard for you to ever learn the trading patterns.
Yeah, I think that was the session I was watching in between my queue timers, and you were like, "Stop playing like a bitch." Sorry for my
Yeah,
language.
yeah,
And I was just like, "Yeah, I need to be more aggressive and take more trades and use my corrupting pot and all that good stuff."
mm,
But I think once I got into the game, I kind of like forgot
mm.
about most of it.
And it's less about the specifics of being aggressive. It's more the mindset. It's like, I don't care if I'm just here to learn at the end of the day. It's like, my name's Kunal. I'm coming in this game. I'm trying to learn. But if I don't push my limits, or if I don't have a theory about how I want to play trades, then it's really, I'm not going to learn too much, It's
Agreed.
more the mindset behind it in a way.
Agreed.
But that's why kind of what I was getting across. But yeah. But so far, I mean, again, this is all decent so far. I like it. And I really like one thing. Considering you're telling me your map awareness isn't good, I really like how you are adapting to your jungler's location. That is one thing that is a big strength so far, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
Um,
so I think I'm good at it for the first clear, right? That's
mhm.
kind of what I was saying. And then after the first clear is over, I'm like kind of lost. I just
Yeah.
kind of pick a side that has my ward and I just hope for the best.
Well, that's quite normal. It is hard to track the jungle post first clear. Maybe for the first 5, 6, 7 minutes you can, but then after that it gets very hard,
Yeah.
which is very normal. So we see Volibear actually walk onto bot side here. I believe this Volibear is going to go for a double scuttle.
Yeah, so I know he goes bot, so I start trying to lean top immediately. My jungler went back, so I'm just like, all right, I'm at
Yep.
1050.
Hmm.
So, I mean, the Victor got the push on me, but I was still trying to just contest that push as much as I could. And here, I don't know, I didn't want it to hit the turret. I wanted to keep him interested,
Hmm.
I guess, but I didn't really know what was right, what was wrong. I was like, I have to pop my corrupting pot, so once I pop that second corrupting pot, I'm thinking like I'm close to getting to 6. I want a base, but at the same time, I'm like unsure how to properly accomplish those things. So I'm like throwing my W, throwing my Q. I didn't red card, I blue carded, so that must have
So
been a mistake.
this is the downside of Ignite. So the way Ignite works is this: Ignite is a spell that's it's a combat spell, right? So the biggest advantage you have is that you have better skirmishing over this Victor. He has TP, you have Ignite. Now, if you don't punish Victor in the early portion of this lane by either heavy trading, forcing Victor to TP early, or you don't take aggressive trades, set up kill threat, you don't play for an early river skirmish 2v2, Ignite is kind of underwhelming. You're just gonna get outpaced, or he's gonna have way more utility than you. Now, this is why I like Ghost a little bit better if in games as well, where I don't feel like I'm actually going to be able to use that Ignite specifically, and especially when I've got a passive jungler. If I have a Rek'Sai at least in these champions, I like Ignite because we can actually kill and set up ganks. My gank setup's really good with Gold Card, right? Um,
Exactly.
because you've got Ignite and you've got a Zac, it's so hard. And you've played defensively and let this Victor free farm with TP. This is like worst case scenario in a way. It's like
Yeah.
this guy, Victor's had this long extended laning phase, got to his first hex core. You haven't set up a gank. I mean, not that you can anyway, and you're slowly getting perked out. And it's going to be hard for you to find a reset. So the best way in these situations to find a reset, what you actually need to do is you need to identify which wave the next wave, when the next wave is a cannon. So right now it's generally, I believe it's every 3 waves. So if we look back here, this wasn't a cannon, this next one wasn't a cannon, and then the third wave here is a cannon, right? So the third wave. Now, what you do is when you know that the third wave is a cannon in this situation, so you count, and you're like, okay, this is the second wave that it isn't. Beautiful, I know the next wave is a cannon. And even if you don't know, you can quickly pan your camera in the base, because that will still give you enough time. Then this is where you heavy trade. Literally walk up, queue through the entire wave, red card, auto attack as much as you can. You still got another corrupting pot ticking as well. Completely fine. Trade as much HP as you can. Victor can't kill you anyway. Even if you go down to 20% HP, you lean onto top side, you know, Volabear's bot side, and get as much of the wave as possible. You might have to miss 1 or 2 creeps, whatever. Smash your wave on smash your face on the wave. Duck out of vision, insta recall. Okay. That's what you need to do.
Okay.
And that's how you get a reset.
Got it. Yep. So yeah, I definitely played this completely incorrectly here. Blue card, not a red card. Really late queue.
Playing defensive.
Yeah, playing defensive.
And then that's the other thing. You need to queue first. Like you need to be walking up here.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Through the
Do
entire
the straight line
well.
so it hits all of them. Yeah.
So it's all these little things, and now this is going to be really rough for you to look for a reset.
Yeah, so I can't even reset when the cannon wave comes.
Yeah. I mean, you can. You're just going to miss CS. It just really depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, and I'm like thinking like almost 6. So
you can just ask for your jungler to come. You just ping assistance.
Yeah. I mean, we were looking for a gank, but I think he just cleared that ward.
You can literally just tell him to come mid here and like push it with you.
I think he's about to.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
So here I'm wondering if you can tell me why this guy doesn't die, or if there's a way for me to kill him.
Well, the first thing is,
I mean, yeah, if I heavy traded earlier, he would be lower HP and he would be dead. Agreed.
Well, no, the first thing here is that you're doing 2 things at once. You're using your Q on the wave, but you're playing for a gank. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Look. Okay, your Q shouldn't even hit. That's the first thing. So, like, right now, you're just queuing the wave, but he gets hit by it. But what I'm saying here is that if you are setting up a gank, you need to save your abilities for the gank, because he's going to CC, he's going to CC this Victor or blow the flash. Either way, he hits the CC, you get a full combo. Yeah. If not, then yeah, you know, either way. So you're kind of not on the same page here, but he goes for the stun. Beautiful auto attack. You should be pathing the whole time between each auto further and further towards him. Nice.
Yeah. So here I do auto forward, and then I go back once the W comes out.
Okay, so well, the biggest thing here is that you should just flash Q him, and he dies.
I see.
But either way, okay. If we're really nitpicking here, you guys kind of stacked your CC here, because he's gonna be stunned here. That's the biggest problem. So I don't think either you just auto attack first. Whoops. You just auto attack first, then pop your W, and then stun after, because Zach's gonna guarantee get the stun with the Q here anyway. So you kind of stack your CC, or you just don't stun at all. You just blue card for the burst in the ignite and go for the kill. So I think either of them could be a better than what you did, because you just literally stacked your CC on top of each other and it doesn't do anything. Or you can just flash Q on the back end and go for a kill. Either way, it works.
Yeah. So my Zach says that he's like, oh, we mislaid our CC. I was like, yeah.
But either way, in these situations, I think it's good that your jungler can come and help you push out the wave, even if it's not a kill. So anyway, you blow flash. So what's the first thing you should be doing? Timing flash.
Timing it, yeah. I think I said it. Important. I hope I said it out loud. I'm pretty sure I did, but I didn't type it in the chat.
You know how to do the copy pasting?
Not efficiently.
So what you do is you just type it, whether it's 5, whatever. What was it? It was around 6 minutes. So 11 F mid. Control A to select it all, Control C to copy it, and then Control V is to paste. So you just do Control V, it will just paste it. Control V, enter.
I didn't know Control A worked in this chat, but that's good to know.
So you Control A, copy, yeah. So just do that. It's a lot. And your gold, I don't expect you to, again, time any other role but yourself.
Okay.
But now, what do we know? You draw with your jungler. This guy has no cleanse. He has no flash. You've got pink wards. This is go time. Like, there's so many things you can do here. The
Yeah.
other thing as well, coming out of base, in this situation, your jungler's looking bot. You should be panning your camera bot right now.
Yeah. Don't know why I didn't.
There we go. It's just a little bit late because you could have altered your pathing a little bit here potentially. Nice. You get a kill here. Beautiful. Nice. Now, yeah, I'd be hardcore looking to punish this victor, man. Like, he is so vulnerable.
Right.
You've spiked. You've got your revolver. Zach has a lot of threat on a no flash victor. As long as you put your pink there, beautiful. You got double pink on bot side. That's the side that you want to play to, I'm assuming, because yeah, tops there's no kill threat. So you're in a really good spot here. This should be a free win, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I would say the game was pretty smooth.
mm,
I think what I'm looking for mostly in this review is, all the things I should be doing better
mm.
because I think I make a ton of mistakes and the result is good.
Yeah, okay. Well, as we've kind of identified, the early laning phase was a lot of mistakes so far, but we can
Yeah,
definitely continue to look, and we'll look into mid game and see what we can optimize here, because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more. You're right, a lot more mistakes.
for sure. And the other thing I always notice when I play TF, whenever my team loses, I end up being at the top of the damage board, and whenever my team
Mm,
wins, I'm in the middle. It's never
right.
really me with the highest damage and the team wins. And I don't know why that is.
It's never you with the highest damage. Okay, so generally though, the way TF works and the way TF wins games, he's not a 1v9 champion. So if you have all the resources, it's generally not amazing. I mean, Omnistone is a little bit different. You kind of can. But the way I view TF in winning games is that you are the best champion at snowballing your winning side. And I said this in my last coaching video. Generally, the way solo queue works, you have one strong side, one weak side.
Yep.
So every game, the way draft works, you're going to have one strong side. Your job, and like any mid laner, is not just to be strong yourself, but to complement that side. Twisted Fate does that better than any other champion in the entire game. It's probably that and like maybe Galio are two of the best.
Okay.
Um,
Mm.
so if you have all the gold and all the damage and all the kills, that might just mean that's one of those games where you don't have a winning side. And it's really hard because TF's not a 1v9 champion because he has high cooldowns. He relies a lot on his burst. Um, and he's so easy to lock down. Compare that with a champion like Cassio with short cooldowns, consistent damage, a ZL 1v9 champion, short cooldowns, consistent damage, self peel, all those sorts of things. AoE, all the champions have a lot of self peel, AoE, consistent damage. TF just doesn't have that. Omnistone does it better than a lot of them, but the other reason as well is because his ultimate is utility and not damage. The later it goes into the game, the less useful this is.
Got it.
So
Yep.
most 1v9 champions have a lot of damage in their kit. They're not about utility. So that probably explains why even the games where you're full damage, or you have all the damage and you have all the kills, whatever, you lose. That makes a lot of sense. And the games you win, you shouldn't be, again, you should just be a complement to your winning side, generally.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Because I always feel bad because I look at the damage. I'm like, I'm never at the top when we win. And I'm like, am I just getting carried, or am I actually being useful?
Right. Yeah, no, that's just the way Twist of Fate works. He's the sister. Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
And that's part of why I started playing with Ludens over Roa. If you remember my message to you before.
Yeah, that's not good. You definitely don't want to be playing with Ludens.
But you get to one shot their 80 carry. It's so good.
Because that's not what you need to do, you know? It's
Yeah.
not your identity. Oh, one other thing here, if you're gonna ward this bush, um, you need to ward here.
Okay. So I get the vision of the opening, the
Because
choke.
they can walk through here with this.
Okay.
That won't see the jungler walk into there.
Okay. Got it.
So you need to ward there on the edge. I like your ward here because again you got plenty of vision on bot side. It's quite nice. No need to ward bot side anyway, so it's really good. Now, this is where again I want to be looking for you to set up ganks. I want you to abuse this vision that you have on bot side. It should be a pretty. Okay, there's Volibear, beautiful. Okay, little thing here, little thing optimize. Have you heard me talk about perceived threat?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a perfect example. when you've got a pink ward here and a pink ward here, and they have no vision on your jungler, this is where you need to pretend your jungler is here. This is where you need to posture
Mm,
aggressively, because there's no way Victor should be able to walk up with no vision and hit your pink ward. The only reason he's doing it is because you're playing
passive, yeah.
passive. Like, so Victor's like, wait, what is he doing? If you just sit here and catch the wave and posture aggressively, pretend that your jungler's there, he's not going to be able to get his ping in a million years. He's got no flash, no cleanse, nothing. Like, that's the most scary thing ever. Yes, his jungler's kind of in the area, but he's not even close. Like, this is ridiculous. And he's only adapting. He's only reacting to the way you're playing. He's like, what the hell? Why is Victor catching the wave of tower? You know, like, his
Yep,
jungler mustn't be here type
yep,
thing.
yep.
So you're making it very, very obvious. And there's no way he should get that pink. And sometimes what I like to do if I see this happen, and I'll start I'll just beeline at them and just be like, what the hell are you doing? And pretend that my jungler's there. And put my W on. Just put my W on and pretend that, and then sometimes even hold my gold card and they shit themselves. It's
Right.
pretty funny. But again,
Okay.
that does require, because here, Zach hadn't showed yet. Zach only doesn't show yet, probably shows about now. So
Right.
then it probably wouldn't work, but once you know he showed, it doesn't work. But it is something to think about.
Okay.
But luckily, you've got a pink here anyway. Okay, so you've got one winning side, so this is really, really nice. Your jungler's on vision, so you've got to kind of play appropriately here. But still looking pretty good. I think here you should be spamming blue cards to top up your mana. Yep. Fiddle solo killed Urgot somehow. Okay. Beautiful.
So
Okay, you base you
here
on a
I
cannon.
have
This is
enough
nice.
gold, so I'm just like, this is a pretty good time to base. Get my sheen and top up the pinks. Yeah, I was running
Interesting.
low on mana too, and it was a cannon wave and all that, so I figured this might be a good time to base.
Okay. Come back. Get the wave out. Again, another thing, yeah. Why are you letting this guy walk up, man? He's walking up in your face. Like, what I like to do in this
I'm
is,
so concerned with my CS sometimes that I
yeah,
don't bother. For me, like the way I was looking at this game is like I'm not gonna win by killing this Victor. I'm
right,
gonna win by making sure I don't fall behind on farm and making sure
right,
I like impact the side lanes.
okay. I mean, it does make sense. But all I'm saying is that you're just missing opportunities to trade, man. Like, at the
Yeah,
end of the day. Like, here, if this Victor walks up this deep in the lane, you've got vision on both sides. It's
for
like,
sure, for
he's
sure.
using he's using E in your face under tower. Like this, I'm like, screw you. I'm literally gonna walk up and gold card you, get
Yeah,
a full combo with my Sheen and my thing. I can even chase. You could actually, not even
I
lie.
could
You can
probably
nearly
kill
solo
him.
kill. You
I
can
could kill
nearly
him.
solo kill.
He has no flash. I could
Yeah,
kill him for sure.
yeah. So it's pretty disrespectful that this Victor's doing that. Okay. Now, one thing you should be doing with your jungler right now is, I mean, if we're talking about duo, do you duo often with this guy?
Yeah, I mean, if we play, we usually try and play together.
Okay. So one thing that you guys should be looking to do now, given that your bot lane is winning so hard, is start to translate your vision onto bot side and set up dives.
Okay.
What I'm looking for is Zach to start pathing bot side, maybe do a full clear down here, get his wolves, get his raptors, and then start to path over here. You lean with your pink in the side bush. You've got another pink here, and you start to hardcore hover in between waves, pressure, which is going to then force them back off the tower, or they stay and you dive. This is going to allow you to take these camps in here, or again, Volibear comes, you play the man advantage fight, you take the 3v4, or Victor tries to follow you down the river, you kill Victor, all these sorts of good things. You can kind of
Got it.
see what
Got
I'm
it.
getting at here.
Yep, I
I don't know
understand.
what,
Same thing for
like, I
top.
don't,
If top was equivalent of bot.
yeah, same thing for top. I think
Okay.
here it's kind of a waste. What is Zach doing? He's looking for a gank. The problem is with looking for a gank from bot side here, you have no vision like this. Like, you might as well just full clear play to bot side here. That's not the win con. Unless he wants to play for Rift Herald, I guess he can play for Rift, but I don't know what the top situation is, you know? Like, I don't know. Okay, there's volley. I guess he can play for Rift. Maybe, but Urgot's got pressure.
He
I don't know.
does, and then Urgot shows, then he calls me over. So I
Yeah.
I think I ult. Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Again, this was risky because he didn't. I mean, how does he know where Volibear is? You know.
I don't think he
Okay.
does. I think he just went for it.
Okay. Volibear's here. Gets a kill. I mean, maybe he thought that Volibear would reset or something. I don't know.
No, I don't think we had the information of where Volibear was, because I
Hmm.
don't think he looked at his jungle camps either.
Yeah, because this Volibear could easily just be here or here. And
Yeah,
then if Urgot has pressure, Fiddlesticks is dead. This is a bit of a risky time to do Rift, in my opinion. But anyway, that's not up to you. You can only really share with what you want to do. And at the end of the
exactly.
day, the way I see it, if you can get Rift, beautiful. It's always the best play. Rift is always the best play if you can do it. But in saying that, my first response every single time is play to my strong side and look for dives. That's what I like doing.
Okay.
But again, Rift Herald is beautiful if you can, because if you can get Rift Herald first, then look for the dive play, it becomes 10 times better. Because then you get the Rift, you look for the dive play, you Rift on the back end, break the tower, the game just explodes.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's very rare that you can do that, though. It's very rare that you can get Rift and then play the bot side as well. Like, usually the
I
top lane's
mean,
losing.
hey, my jungler's favorite champ is like Zac and Elise and minus TF, so I think we can set those kind of plays up more often.
Mm, cool. Well, this is free. Nice kill. Here, your positioning's a bit off here. I think you should, like, when you see Urgot here, you should just always be trying to, like, path towards him.
Get in his
Like,
face.
rather than run away like that as
Right.
well. See how, like, you backclick?
Yeah, too much
Just
gap.
little things
Yeah.
here. Yeah, then you don't even have to waste Ignite here, in my opinion. This is a waste. But anyway. Okay, so come back. We don't know the flash timer, unfortunately, mid, which is a bit annoying, but it looks like he might even blow his flash again here.
I think he just dies here.
Oh, no way. So he still doesn't have flash? Oh yeah, it was
It
like
was
11.
11, 11, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We get that kill.
So
Beautiful.
here I asked my jungler to help me push and get the base.
Hmm. Yeah. Cool.
And here I'm like, Phage or Mage Eyes? I'm looking at my score and I'm like, might be a Mage Eyes game.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I actually think it's not too bad, to be honest. I think you can go Magi's. So Volibear dies.
Yeah, so here I was just like, is he around? Do I go for him? But I couldn't find him within a reasonable time.
That death was actually really big for the game state.
The kill into Victor.
No, like Zach. Um.
Zach, oh, dying on volley.
Yeah. Now, the only downside of going Magi's before finishing, like actually, I actually don't think going Magi's before finishing Triforce is worth it.
Okay.
Now thinking about it more, you need the durability, man. You're so squishy. You can't. That's why Phage is so important on this Omnistone build, purely because you need tankiness. Like that's why you build Catalyst and Roller on TF, because
So
you're so
why
squishy.
why does TF need this tankiness? Like that's like something I never
Hmm.
got my head around. I just kind of do it because
Okay.
everyone does it, but I don't
Well,
understand why.
okay. If you think about it, so TF is his W is literally just auto attack range,
Yeah.
right? It's very low range a lot of the time, and given that he's a mid laner, generally, if you're a low range champion, you have a lot of threat. But that's not really the case with Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate, his threat is with his ultimate. His threat comes from utility. It doesn't come from just raw damage. So if you think about it, someone like Aurelia is low range, but they have a lot of threat to make up for it.
Yeah.
A champion like Silas is low range, but they have a lot of durability with the W and a lot of threat to make up for it. Twisted Fate, the W doesn't really count because the Q doesn't really count because the Q is such high range that, and it's like it's not reliable damage to actually hit. You need to get in range for your W. Now, what you'll find in mid lane matchups, champions like Ori, Syndra, Victor, all of them, they can just bully you if you build full squishy because, I mean, they're like, all right, well, your whole kit revolves around your W. And if you can't get in W range, you're too scared to take trades with your W, you're too squishy, then, your champion can't operate. So what you'll find if you don't build durability, you're just going to get outranged, you're going to get outpoked, it's just going to be so hard for you to do anything. And more importantly, you need to be able to, like I said, the W is literally auto attack range. So you need to be in auto attack range as a mage. Think about that.
I hear
Think
you. That
about
makes sense.
think
I
about
mean,
an Orianna that can't use Q and is using auto attacks.
yeah, no,
Like
yeah.
you're putting yourself in situations that are so sketchy by putting yourself in auto attack range a lot of the time. So that's generally the reason.
Just a heads
Just
up.
range.
It just started thunderstorming and the wind's like 40 miles an hour, so I might lose power. Just heads up.
All right, we'll see. Maybe we could try and speed this up then. Okay. So yeah, does that make sense? So why Phage and not Medjay's?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Once you, yeah, like the whole like range aspect and needing to kind of
Yeah.
be in their face to do damage, that makes more
Yeah.
sense.
All right.
Because like
So
the way I was like, you just kind of get blown up if you ever get caught out anyway, so you might as well like nuke them. But yeah, if you play correctly, I think it's better
yeah.
for the slight amount of tankiness, I think.
Okay. So you got to get your. Is that your pink, by the way? Is that your pink in the side bush? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been sitting there forever.
So that's good. Now, one thing here is that I'm noticing. Notice because you're so squishy, Victor doesn't need to get in range for you. Look at this. Victor can just E you, and you're so squishy.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah,
It's so, like, this is why the durability is such an important part
yeah.
of Twisted Fate. So in these situations, so either one or two things, you have to completely respect because your jungler's not here and there's no threat, so you can't, or you're willing to, you have a bit of information, you're safe with wards, and you take the trade back. There's no in between. This is what I call in between. You're not completely respecting and not waiting for the wave to come in, so you take damage for no reason. See how this is just like
Yeah,
I don't know. You might as well just trade back at that point.
yeah.
You had a card in your queue, just take it. So I actually had this problem with a client yesterday where they tunnel so hard on the CS that they don't adapt when the person actually walks up. So the way trading just works at a real fundamental, this is just lane fundamentals, is you never want to focus on creeps if they can just walk up on you. So that's why he said when you're playing Twisted Fate and you use W on the wave and you're versing a Z, they just walk on you and kill you.
Yep.
If you're doing, it's so if they can ever walk up and trade onto you, you either need to adapt by holding your abilities and trade back and generate threat, or not use your ability, use your abilities on the wave and respect hardcore so they don't trade onto you and wait for your cooldowns. You
Got you.
never do what you're doing here. This is the worst case scenario. Use abilities on the wave and take the poke to the face.
Okay.
And that was what was kind of happening in the early laning phase as well. A little bit.
Yeah, I need to take more trades. I have the corrupting pot advantage, and I have like
Yeah.
the mage eyes, so I mean I should be just fighting back.
Dude, here you can literally just flash stun and he dies. If you just flash stun, he dies. Because Victor Blitz just hooks him in, right?
Yeah, he has flash right now. The Victor does.
Yeah, but I don't think it matters, right? If you think about it, if you flash stun,
So if I flash stun, yeah, he's out of the minions also. Yeah,
he dies. Oh well, like I'm pretty sure he dies. I mean, it'll be close. But I even think trading flash for flash is worth Victor for you. Sorry, because you have a Zac and you're ahead. Okay, he just blows flash randomly like that. Whatever. So time that 17 mid, 17 10 mid, whatever. There's Volibear, beautiful. So you guys need to stop. You guys need to take time, get your vision control in the bottom side river, generate threat, especially now that he doesn't have flash. If he disrespects, you look for a kill. Otherwise, you need to gank. You need to get stuff done because it feels like.
well, I saw my ult come up and I was just kind of waiting for it, and then I was pinging bot like, "Hey, I'm coming, I'm coming." So Victor pushes the wave in, and I just catch it, and then I think I go bot right after this.
There's something you should maybe talk with your joy partner. I really don't like this, by the way. Like this dragon, the way he's doing it. Like
He saw volley top, so he just went on it.
just as a principle, though, you generally want to go into River first, clear vision. Like he should have sweeper right now and a pink ward. Pink the dot. Even like sweep wards just to make sure there's ward. Sweep bot as well. Just sweep. Walk up and sweep. Then do dragon. because what happens is if you sweep and use your pink wards, then the laners are gonna have to respect because they don't know where Zac is. So if he walks bot, sweeps, and then walks mid and sweeps and uses pinks, Victor's gonna be having to think, wait, holy crap, Zac's somewhere in that area. I have to respect. So that means you can walk up, play aggressively, lean on bot side, play for the wave, and lean. Conversely, the exact same for bot lane. If he sweeps, they're going to have to respect because his engage range is so long with Varus R and Zac that they have to respect, which allows the laners to get pressure. But now that he hasn't walked into River and used pinks or swept or anything, I don't know what wards they have in the River. Maybe the enemy supports actually walked up, like they've got scuttle and things like that. Maybe they've actually got vision in River. Maybe that's why this Victor is like free to walk up, or their bot lane's not getting pressure, that sort of thing, you know?
Got you.
Does that kind of make sense as a concept?
Yes, it does. I think like what I mentioned to you earlier, like playing around our vision, or at least for me, it's a
Mm.
weakness, you know.
Mm.
And I think I'm just not thinking about stuff like that. So now that you brought it up, I'm gonna definitely like implement that more into my games. And I'm gonna show him this video too, so
Mm.
he will.
Well, that's generally what high elo games is what they do is junglers are very very good at generating threat. They always even at the most simple level. After their first clear, they don't just go. They very rarely go straight back to their camps. They'll actually walk straight into river and place pinks ward or clear pinks or clear vision. Get seen some like sweep or whatever, just so the enemy doesn't have any vision, so they don't know whether they're on camps or in river, that sort of thing. They always know that because they always want to keep the laners scared,
I
generally.
see. Okay. Yeah, I never really thought about
Um,
that. That's
and
interesting.
that's the same thing here. Like this, like, right now. I mean, I like that you're leaning. I guess they could, if they show bot, you could easily kill them. The only downside here is that you kind of get pushed over the wave mid, which is a little bit annoying. But
Yeah, when I pinged
okay.
on the way, I was kind of hoping the Blitzcrank would have just walked up to
Mm,
him, but
mm.
he didn't. So
So you base, you come back. Wait, you could have just ulted on this guy if you wanted to. But you have Predator, you can just Predator him.
I don't think I did either. I was just like, oh, there's a wave here. My jungler just gave me this free pressure. I,
But
yeah, we could have.
he's dead.
Yeah,
Predator
no.
here,
Volley
or
shows
all
top. Volley shows top. He's dead.
doesn't even matter if volleys. He just gets one shot. It's the speed of the play. Like if volley, even if volley is like there, right?
Uh-huh.
He's still dead. Because if you land the stun here, he has no flash. Remember, like he just dies in one combo.
That's right.
The fight's done. Um. Anyway, you get that push. Now they should lean off bot river. Put your pinks on bot side. You should be leaning just into river. You don't need to walk the long way. Just lean into river. Beautiful. Nice.
Yeah,
Should
so
be a
I
kill here.
just go on her because the Jin's dead. So
That's flash on MF. That's
yep.
very big. Get another kill. Get the wave out. Get your... He can't really afford. Unfortunate. Uh, limiting your... You've really delayed your Triforce spike this game, man.
Yeah. So I think I'll prio
Hardcore.
for that next time. You know, instead of getting the mage eyes.
This game just feels so wrong. The way this whole game's played out. Considering like everything that's happened, you had Rift Herald, you had flashes blown mid, you have insane gank setup bot with no cleansers, no QSSs. You've you haven't broke a single tower and you haven't dived bot once. You've barely been generating any threat on bot. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing just feels really wrong, and I need to pinpoint this because this just feels like the way this game is panned out did not. I just did not think this was the way it would pan out. I think it all starts here. I think it literally all starts here. Like you get this rift, volley goes bot, kills bot, but they trade kills. Volley's dead. You go for this play. Okay, then you blow his... He just dies randomly. Okay. Get the wave in. How does Zach die? He goes back to his camps and then he just gets run down.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's step one. The next one is that you buy the wrong item. That's step two, which ruins your durability. You have pinks. You both need to come into Bot River and get those pinks down ASAP. So what does Zach do?
My
He goes on.
isn't my pink down? Yeah, my pink's right there in that brush.
Your pink's there, but we need one dot for your jungler. So then you come mid. He blows flash again. You've taken bad trades this whole time, which means that you're gonna have to base again. Zach walks into river. Oh, instead of walking into river, sorry. Volley shows top. This is just dive bot. This is just a dive bot, I reckon.
Okay.
You need to dive. This is it. I think this is where the game is just like slow for no reason. You have Rift Herald, right?
Yeah.
Or did Fiddle take it?
I don't remember.
Okay. So Zax does Dragon here, which is the first mistake in my opinion. There's no way they should be the overextended bot. You got a Varus with ultimate. You just ult and kill him. He's dead. Then the next thing is you take bad trades. You have to recall. So you guys, after that Dragon, you can't even continue to pressure to do anything bot side. Then you ganked mid and fail to kill mid when you had Predator and ult, which is another missed opportunity with no flash. Volley shows top again. And again, Zach goes top side. You get one kill. Yeah, I think Fiddle actually used... Yeah, Fiddle actually got the Rift, which is a big no-no.
He used that 1253, yeah.
Like, this whole... You see what I mean? Like, this... It feels very... You're not snowballing hard at all. Like, you're getting kills, but they don't lead to anything. Like, every kill you've gotten, it hasn't led to a single tower.
That's true.
You killed mid... You didn't get tower damage. You killed bot, you didn't get tower damage. You got dragon, nothing after that. You didn't invade. You guys haven't got a single time. You haven't invaded this bot side jungle a single time. And you haven't actually lent in between waves a single time. The only time you've actually lent is when you've actually lent behind the see how you never lent into river. You actually lent over this wall.
Yep.
So this whole time, you should just be leaning here, pushing, and hovering into river. And I guess that was a result of you having phage and just being too squishy. But, so then what happens here? So you go for another kill. Get another one. Get mid tower, please. You need to snowball this game. You get mid tower. Beautiful. You should get rift on spawn again here. 20 seconds. Okay. Get this wave in. Victor's line bot.
So once I see him there, I'm just like, I'm going for this mid turret.
Yep. I don't mind that. I like the non-compensating play. You lean topside, get another kill. This is going to lead to Rift, ideally. Beautiful. Boom. Top wave, top tower. Oh no, he shows you.
So yeah, Zach gets the Rift. I have to burn flash here because this guy showed up, but we get the Rift.
Get the Rift. Beautiful. Recall. You go back mid. So this is where, at some point here, you guys got to change the lane assignments.
So here I make a big mess up. I go the wrong way completely. It's just terrible.
Why aren't you using Predator?
I think it comes to just not having enough games with Omnistone and not paying enough attention to my current rune.
Okay.
Yeah, here I just kind of die for nothing.
Big shutdown. Okay, so after this whole thing happens, right? You get Rift, everything. You need to take control because you need to be in the side lane at this point now. This is where you just send Varus mid, you sit on the side, that sort of thing. Yes, you can go mid, and that's also fine because you can just push and move onto a side. I just think that the reason that you in the side's better is that your Varus and Blitz are going to get way more pressure versus the Victor. And then what's going to happen? Victor's going to get forced to match you in the side lane. And if Victor matches you in the side lane, then he's just so incredibly vulnerable. Now, in these situations, when you're coming out of base in these situations, what do you see? You see your bot lane's bot, you see Dragon, all these things. So, are you contesting Dragon? Yes or no? If you're not contesting Dragon, just go straight top here. Are you contesting... But if you are contesting Dragon, can you even win the fight? You have no ultimate. They're all grouped here. Your support's dead, and your AD carry is split. So you got to use this time coming out of base, and I actually spoke to this for a few other people. Use this time coming out of base to decide what you're doing next. It's actually completely fine to give this dragon in this if you want to, right now. But if you felt like you could take it, you got to think about, all right, well, if you want to take the fight, you guys need to be grouped. Varus and Blitz are split bot and already dying. So
Yep.
it's
So
going to be a
so
hard
so
fight.
here, what I wanted to do is just push
Mm,
mid in because that turret's under so much pressure. But then what ends up
yeah, then
happening
the
is
fight
this
breaks out.
fight breaks out. So it's like I feel like this is out of my control. What's in my control is
Mm,
going the wrong
mm,
way. I should have gone from
mm,
my turret.
mm. Yeah, I feel you. I agree. I actually think going grouping mid here is way better. But then Zach's actually just trying to reposition onto Raptors, which is fine. Then a fight breaks out. Yeah, so I think this is just skirmish awareness. I don't think this is a really big deal. I don't think this is something worth really looking at.
Okay.
Um, okay, now Varus, beautiful. This is much better. Varus in the side lane. That you push them off dragon. You get dragon. Okay, fight probably will break out in a
Yeah,
second.
the Volibear just kind of ints.
Yep, nice. They get a big combo. Yeah, because you guys struggle in team fights, especially versus a Victor, a MF,
The
and
Victor,
you
it's
have a Twisted Fate.
yeah, the Victor's team fighting really messes it up a couple times in the game because of the AoE.
Well, as well, you gave a big shutdown
Yeah, yeah,
before.
yeah.
Okay, so not looking. Oh, nice. I mean, so it's not too bad. You do a pretty good job. Oh, nice. What happens here? Beautiful. Good awareness. Push out the side lane. Get the tower. Now this is where you should be looking to go top. No.
What do I end up doing? I just go back bot.
Next objective is Baron in that top tower. Just
Right.
send your Vidalbot right here.
But here, what ends
Send
up
your.
happening is with that pick on MF, I'm like, telling my jungler, I'm going to go for this tier 2 because I'm already here, you know?
Well, so what's the thought process here? Break this down for me.
So here, I thought Fiddle would have gone back top, so I didn't bother going top because Fiddle doesn't have TP, I don't think. So I was
As in,
thinking,
it's down.
yeah, something like that. So I thought he was going to be top to hover the Baron. I thought I could just get to Baron pretty easily after
Mm.
shoving out a couple waves. So, and then I see this pick on MF. So when I see that pick
That's
on
not a good move.
MF, I
Mm.
say, I'm going for this tier 2 turret. You guys just push in mid. I'm telling my jungler, like, wait for them to, like, show up on me, and then we can fight together. But they just kind of keep fighting, and then it falls apart. So I think it's a big mistake.
So the first thing here is that Fiddle actually does have TP coming up in a little bit. The next thing that I wanted to actually pinpoint here was, are you thinking about their items and looking for QSSs and Zonias?
I should. And I didn't.
So that's a huge thing. So when you get into mid game TF is all about you got to be adaptable. You got to figure out what the hell's going on. Because again, you can play TF so many different ways. You can play group front to back. You can play split push. You can play burst. Whatever you want to do. Now in this situation, we see no cleansers, no QSSs, no Zonias, nothing. Like this is an absolute gold mine for Twisted Fate right now. Now, what I'm thinking in my head is, all right, ideally, I want to be top side because that's the side of Baron. My top laner has TP. Send him bot. I'm going to run straight out top. If a fight breaks out mid, I'm not going to be able to get there with ultimate, but I know most likely a fight's not going to break out. Because I want them to hover me, and I'll just ping up here. You can tell you're a jungler. I just want to hover me to get this top tower. Now, if you felt like a fight was going to break out, then you can just group mid as a team and run it down mid with Predator and look for a pick. That's also viable. But if you thought that for some reason Fiddle didn't have TP, I can see how this would be the correct move, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's just really bad awareness. I wasn't thinking like enough about the play. I just kind of like started going mid because I thought like I
Mm.
would be mid, and then I saw like everyone just branching off and doing their own thing. So I saw the wave coming in bot, so I just go bot.
And the other thing as well, if you're rifting mid, you should just group mid here, by the way.
Yeah,
If you're rifting ever, you just group and siege. Um, don't split because you don't have ultimate. If you had ultimate, it's a different story, but you don't have ultimate because now look, they're sieging that tier 3 and you're not there, and they have Rift Herald. You know,
I agree. I agree. So like here I'm like panning my camera. I'm like, oh wow, that's two
Mm.
dead now. So like this should be extra
Yep.
free. Like they're pushing that in for the siege. I'm gonna push this in.
Yep.
But then they just keep fighting. I'm like, stop. So here is what I was talking about earlier when I have like a goal in mind. I just kind of get set on it and I don't like changing from it. Like my goal was like this tier two should be mine.
Mm. I still think this is all on you though for not grouping on the Rift
Okay.
because the way you see Rift is that it's not it's pretty much a guaranteed tower, but more importantly, it's like a giant magnet, right? So generally, when someone spawns Rift, everyone gets gravitates towards that Rift, your team and the enemy. So you basically know whenever there's a Rift Herald, there's going to be a fight of some form because the enemy want to defend their towers, right? So it's just the way I view Rift Herald in solo queue is like I just want to be there. Something is shit's gonna go down. I gotta be there, just in case. Now I think your play in theory is fine, but again, it's solo queue and it's Rift Herald.
Okay.
There's gonna be a fight.
Makes sense.
That's the way I view it. At the end of the day, like yes, in a perfect world, you could probably do this play, but I feel like grouping mid is still even better because it actually allows you to break this tier three. Tier threes are usually very hard to kill, so if you can actually break that tier three, it is incredibly big for you guys.
Makes sense.
But in saying that, if you felt like you couldn't siege it anyway, maybe you had already used the rift on this tier two, and it had one charge left, and you probably couldn't get that tower, then this play is really really good. If that's the case, then you need to be spam pinging back right now and communicate with pings. But you know, that's just classic solo queue, the way it works. So again, the way I would, if I was to VOD review this in my own time, I would feel like, okay, I just failed to adapt to the situation. This is solo queue. I can't play this like competitive
Right.
type thing.
Right. Yeah.
And you got to adapt to the chaos.
I completely agree. I feel like I was just too stubborn. I was like tunneled on getting this bot turret and I just didn't do
This
the
is like all overstay, by the way. This is all just bad. Look at this.
well, the fiddle
Overstay.
just runs and ints at them. He ults them in
No, but you're
evade.
not. Yeah, but you're not calling anything. Why? You're not saying a single thing. So what is he gonna know?
I mean, not ulting would have been fine, right?
No, here, like you should be right now already. Right, so he does this, whatever, he gets a kill, and now I'm saying back, back, back. I'm spamming back right now
Okay.
because you know your Zac and your Varus is dead. They're nearly coming. They're coming back up. There's no way you're ever going to be able to siege this tower, right? So you need to value tempo coming back on the map and playing for Baron control. Tower damage is never worth tempo,
Okay.
right? As a principle in League of Legends, tower damage is just bad. Tower damage, overstaying is what we call overstaying for tower damage. It does nothing. Because if you think about it, if you stay here, right? You stay here for tower damage, and let's say you get the tower to 3/4 HP, or a quarter, whatever it is, and they come back on the map, what's going to happen? They're going to chase you all the way down. They're going to force you to recall all the way back here. Then your recall timers are going to be split because then your Varus and your Zac are going to be coming back on the map, which means they're going to have control because they know there's only going to be 2 people here and they're going to have 5 people here. So this is where they get Baron control. This is where again, people make more picks because it's solo queue. People are more split. People get caught, that sort of thing. You got to, like, yes, in an ideal world, everyone knows how to play the game and Fiddle just doesn't do this, but you're not in Challenger, dude. No one in this game below Grandmaster really knows how to play the game. Even Master Tier, there's really poor level of play. So the way to reliably climb, Canal,
Yep.
is to take responsibility, and you can carry games by pinging. I'm actually going to do a whole video on this and Foresight, because it's so easy to shift responsibility here. Like, your default response here is like, yeah, but Fiddle went in,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But you didn't. You had a full 10 seconds before here to call the playoff.
Okay.
Because you know this isn't good. Like, in hindsight, it is something that will come with experience.
Yeah.
But it's where the review comes into play. What are you going to do here anyway? This is just all autopilot. You're not even thinking. You don't even have an intention here. Look.
Well, I'm backing off. I'm like, I threw my blue card. I'm running away. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. But you know in your brain that this is not good.
Yeah.
But you haven't communicated that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I can't assume that they know what I'm trying to do.
And that's one of the most toxic things. Assuming Assumed knowledge is the most toxic thing in League of Legends. Even competitive in pro teams, I found that was one of my biggest jobs as a head coach, was to find all those assumed pieces of knowledge.
Right.
So yeah, now look at this. See, now you're forced to go all the way back here. This is what I
Yeah, that's
said.
exactly
You're
what
gonna
I
get
just
forced
said.
all. Literally exactly what I said. Now you're forced to go all the way back here. Recall. You're gonna recall. Your Varus and Zac are coming back on the map, and now I guarantee you, this is where people get picked. I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if Varus just dies here randomly or something
Yeah.
happens.
Luckily,
Like
they
I don't know what
don't
happened.
have that much pick potential. Luckily, so
Yeah. So generally, that's where the solo queue boom starts to occur.
right. Yeah, they could have
Overstays.
come back from this based on that one, that turret siege that just didn't do anything. They could have come back, but now look, the Urgot's overstaying, so it's just a fiesta.
Yep. And that's what your job is to like minimize that crap happening. Honestly. So you get this kill. This whole thing's wrong though.
It is wrong.
Like
I see what you're saying. It is fully wrong. We should have all been in base like 20, 30
top side,
seconds
going top
ago.
side.
Yeah, and we should have pushed out mid, and we should have pushed out, and top's
Yep.
pushing out, and we should have gotten
Yep.
division top side
Yep.
and gone from there.
And then bait and then bait Baron, turn for Baron, take their jungle camps, that sort of thing. This guy overextends, you get a kill, whatever. Now you should be telling your team to just okay. I think it's Soul, it might be Soul Dragon or is it
Yeah,
the
so
third dragon? So you
here
play
my
for
Zach
dragon.
just like just push, I'm hovering, push, I'm hovering. So I said okay.
Yep, got the wave out, beautiful. Come back, play for dragon.
Here I think I just int. No, not this one.
You should be using your gunblade, by the way.
Do I not? Yeah, no, I should.
Yeah, this is just so hard for you because you're not utilizing your ultimate. I actually think what you do here
Mm-hmm.
is you chuck a trinket ward here. Oh, they've already got one, and you actually just stay in the side lane, and like you actually try and split them up and play for a pick. I don't think you guys win front to back team fights.
Okay.
Like you need to find a way to make a pick here, whether it's
Right.
on MF mid right now or I don't know, because you can't.
We
You
can't
have a
kill this
poke. Is that a
guy.
poke Varus? Is it poke Varus or is it on hit? Do you remember?
I don't
Uh,
remember, no.
Because if it's on hit, then maybe. But if it's poke, I think it looks like it's poke by the way he's playing. Yeah, it's poke. You just don't win front to back fights. With this all, this actually ties in all the way back here. And it's the exact same thing I was telling my other client, Twist of Fate. When you're coming out of base in mid game, the only question you should be asking yourself is what is the win con? Because right now, I actually believe when most players in my coaching clients, they don't even ask themselves the question. They just go out in the map and
So I think what I do is when I'm
wait.
losing, I look for it, and when I'm winning, I don't think about it.
Mm, interesting. That's actually pretty interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
when I'm winning,
So
it's kind of just like just do what you're
it's just
already
like,
doing.
yeah.
But when I'm losing, it's
Yeah.
like, what do I need to do to turn this game around?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Because, like, the way I see it, when I'm coming out of base, like, as Twist of Fate, I am always trying to find a way to abuse my ult. Because, like I said, you're not a 1v9 champion. When it gets to team fights, you have a utility ability. You have an ultimate that's literally not getting used. Think about that.
Yeah,
Like, that's insane. Compare that with Victor, an ultimate, an AoE, huge silence ability. Like, it's crazy, So, yeah. And I think this is actually what's going to bite you in the ass. Like right now, you could have actually just looked for a pick on MF or
we
something.
could have
Like I don't
gone.
know.
Yep, no, we could have. Varus was calling for it too, and I was just listening to my jungler. I'm like, yeah, let's just push.
Yeah. The way I see it as well, and this is the main reason why I like you pushing out topside. Because if you push out topside, right? And pushing out sides, like even pushing out bot side here is fine. But just sit there and stay there. Because eventually someone's going to have to react to you at some point. So if you just sit back here, and then as this wave comes out, you push it again, you just really be that annoying, you be that nuisance. It's going to increase the chances of you being able to make a pick. Because someone's going to have to catch that wave. Someone's going to have to direct that wave. And they're going to see you. And it's just going to cause, a bit more chaos. But again, this just ties into not identifying the win con. But you play the fight, ends up turning out all right. You get the dragon. Okay, please go topside. Varus should be going
Our whole team goes top,
mid.
so I'm just.
Oh, this fiddle needs to go bot. It hasn't gone bot this whole game. The other thing as well I noticed is that you sat on vision trinket, your yellow trinket the whole time. You should be on blue trinket from 20 minutes onwards. You should have blue trinket.
Yep, I agree with you. I do it most games, and I'll say like when I'm winning, it's full autopilot.
Hmm. Oh, you got good backline access. Beautiful. Peel back. He dies. Walk in. All right. You should now use your gunblade this time.
Yep.
Beautiful. Next. Beautiful. Chase. Kill. Oh.
I mean, I die, but I'm like, we kill them both if I do this.
I just don't think you need to do
I
that
think
though.
this is full
You
on
just go here.
adrenaline pumping. I'm like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
You get
know this was a hard end. And the other thing that got me by surprise though was that Volley didn't use his ult. I fully expected him not to have ult.
the fiesta's beginning.
Yep. I think this is the first Predator I've used all game.
Yeah. Okay, get the kill. Again, this whole thing, man, is that you haven't made a single call to the team to tell them what you want to do. I'm watching this and I don't even know what you want to do.
Yeah,
You're just going with the flow. At the end of the day, ever since it went 20 plus minutes in the game, you've
because
just
yeah,
taken a back seat.
because it's my jungler. Me and him are just talking, right? So my jungler's on the Baron. I'm like, yo, get off the Baron and get on these people, and I'm gonna follow you. Like that was my call to him. But I'm not talking to the team. I'm just talking to him.
No, but even then, that's not to do with your champion's identity. Like what I'm saying is that you're having to adapt to situations that are already from the get-go unfavorable for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, okay, cool. This situation's here, and you got to deal with it. There's nothing you can do once this has already happened. But what I'm saying is like this whole time, the situations that you've been in the game have been poor. You haven't made a single pick in mid to late game at all with your ultimate, or you haven't created a man advantage fight. You haven't abused the lack of you know what I mean? Like you haven't abused the lack of
right.
QSS or Zhonya's on the carries. There's been no form of way to get favorable fights for you. It's like if we look all the way back here, even this fight, this wasn't even good for you. You're playing a weird split fight where like you're not using your ultimate again. It's not even on cooldown. It's a straight front to back. You're giving like if I'm Victor, this is what I want. I want this fight. I want this sort of team fight. It's like a fight. It's like I know that if I'm Victor, if TF goes in the side lane, it's going to be super annoying to deal with. I hate versing TF at this point in the game as Victor because I know that it's going to be hard for me to get that 5v5 because they don't even have engage. Their engage is so weak.
Yeah.
Like what volley just runs at you, but like it's so easy to peel that off, you know. So all I'm saying is that this situation, the situation before this situation here, all of these situations ever since we're 20 plus minutes in the game were already bad for you, and they turn out okay. Like you said you win this game, but there's so many things you could do. The whole mid game was just not favorable for you at all. You kind of see where I'm getting
I
at.
do, yeah.
And in terms of like all the way from back here as well, here, these situations all bad for you.
Yep, yeah.
There hasn't been a single good one. Now, the way to do it is just talk. You haven't said a single word in the chat. You haven't said a single thing. You haven't pinged back. You haven't used pings. You haven't spoken about. You haven't nothing. So, the way I view it, it's like in life. Like get a bit philosophical here, but it's like you decide the person you want to be. You decide that, and you make the decisions that impact the rest of your life. You can go to gym every single day and be buffed out of your brain, but you're making that decision. Or you can autopilot through life, and you're gonna have that that average sort of life as well. It's the same thing. You create your own reality, if that makes
It
sense.
does.
And yes, in League of Legends, it's very tricky sometimes because people don't always listen. But we're talking about over you'd be surprised if you communicate in advance and use pings. You'd be surprised how many people listen. In my experience, anyway. Um, and at least you tried. You know what I mean? It's like it's better to try and maximize your chances of something happening rather than just going along with it. So I don't want like I think in terms of mechanically, in terms of team fighting, it's actually fine. Like your team fighting's fine, your mechanics are fine. You don't really use Predator very often. You don't really use your gunblade too well, that sort of thing. But aside from that's not super important. I think the principle that I'm seeing all from 20 minutes onwards in this game is that you're just going with the flow. That's at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
and yeah, that I'm guilty of that for sure.
Because your knowledge is fine. Because if you would actually, you seem like a smart dude, and you seem like a dude who knows a lot about, about the game. And it's so easy for in here to say in hindsight, right? It's like in hindsight, I should just, you know what you should do. If you were to look at this gameplay, it's like, wait, or I should be splitting, right? I
Yep.
should be creating man advantage. I'm twist of fate, right?
Yep.
So I just think that's more of like a mindset thing and just a reality check. And sometimes that's what coaching is good for. It's just like, holy shit, like I really was not
Yeah.
like,
No,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I agree with you.
So overall, for me, this game, was there anything you would kind of wanted to talk about before we go back and recap?
I think the last thing would just be like sometimes when I think what has stopped me from making so many calls these days is like
Mm,
I used to try and always be like the shot caller in every solo queue game, and then eventually I just got tired of it. I was like, this isn't
mm,
happening. Sometimes people don't listen, and when they don't listen, half the team is split, half the team is doing it. And I feel like I run into a lot of bad situations. So I think that's why I try to do
mm.
more of what the team is doing sometimes. And other times I just tunnel on what I'm doing. So I think it's out of whack, out of sync completely. But
Mm.
yeah, I think I just need to stick to one method and go with it. So either communicate or like fully adapt. And I think communicating would be the stronger option.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, you're in gold. So none of these players know what they're doing. I think the adapting approach can work if you're high elo, because some other people might take control of the game. But at the end of the day, the people playing in gold, like, a lot of them are just going to be playing for fun as well
Yep,
and not actually trying to improve.
yep.
Like that Fiddle 6 is a perfect example, dude. He's playing Fiddle 6 top, ulting in under tower at tier 3 when people are resetting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me that guy's actually thinking about the game. He's just autopilot. He's having fun, man. He's playing, birthday party Fiddle 6. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different type of player.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, the biggest takeaway is like, again, I don't think your problem's micro, which is a very good thing to have. I think in terms of CSing can use a little bit of work. I think though the reason that your CSing is kind of hurting is because I think that you're not 100% sold on the sorts of the lane fundamentals. Because the way it works, right, is that your CS takes a hit when you don't know when you should be CSing and when you should be trading. Because what happens, then you begin to get stressed out because you're like, oh my god, can I even get this CS? Are they going to hit me? You start overthinking it. You start then you take really bad trades and you get low, have to take a poor tempo reset. All these sorts of things happen, and then your CS just gets really, really low. I think that CSing is something that will come with time, and it's not terrible. It's good enough to definitely it's good enough, and it will improve over time. But I'll just kind of keep an eye on that for now. But in terms of the main thing, I think the few things that we'll kind of want to take away from this session is just like the lane fundamentals that I mentioned in this video. The first one is like you need to have a theory about the way you want to play trades. If you're playing any scaling champion, you don't need to always tunnel onto just super scaling. If they use their abilities on the wave, you should process that and punish. If they walk up and use abilities on you, you shouldn't be just focusing on the wave. Very, very basic trading stuff. Warding as well, making sure you're thinking about warding at around 230 to 240. I think your awareness of the junglers is actually decent. I don't mind that at all. I think your pink ward usage is actually pretty good as well, which is really good habits that you've got into. The other thing as well is flash timers, man.
Yeah.
And I don't like to view flash timers in isolation. I like to view it as a mindset thing. I like to view it as if you blow flash, you're playing Twist of Fate with a point and click stun.
Yeah,
Like you gotta like, dude, it's like that doper mindset where there's someone linked in Discord. You gotta be a gladiator. You gotta fight for your life, dude. Like this guy's got no flash. I want to shit on this guy now.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? You gotta generate threat. I'm already, if I blow flash, I'm obsessed because I'm like, okay, I want to get pinks down. I want to generate as much threat as possible. I want to, isolate this lane and set up ganks. I want to, and like you said, you got to think about it. If he doesn't have flash, then that means I should be getting pressure because then I can posture aggressively, pretend my jungler's there. He has to respect. I get the wave and then just roam and lean either out of vision. So either way, it's a win-win. So it's utilizing this information to find ways to generate leads. So flash, just having a way bigger emphasis on flash timing, massive. What was it? As we went through this game, yeah, so those laning fundamentals, and I do strongly recommend that you probably go back over this session a few times, maybe in bits and pieces, to kind of re-jog your memory about some of the things we did talk about in this video. But after here, the other thing as well is like, yeah, if you want to play for bases, I kind of talked about how you should do it, is base heavy trade or hard trade on the wave beforehand, and base on the cannon.
Yep.
As the next waves of cannon, that's going to be very, very handy for you. The other thing as well is like, again, I saw a very, very few times you were thinking about itemization cleanses. So the itemization we can clean up with the Triforce thing. I think that's very simple. But I think that the main thing was that you didn't really click tab to check QSSs, cleanses, Zhonya's, that sort of thing. So this is a massive thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Massive. And that's going to, really, really determine where you want to lean, how much threat you have, that sort of thing. And the other thing as well, I actually really like how you identified which side you want to ult to. I really like that you didn't give top any attention. That's a very, very good habit to have, and I'm glad that you have that as a Twist of Fate player. Next, and use of Predator. Do you know how Predator actually works, right? Is that if you actually are out of combat and lean in between waves, it actually increases your ability to get Predator.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was you talking about it in your Twisted Fate video. You were just like, as soon as you start roaming, you just start getting it or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So just keep that in mind when you lean in between waves, that sort of thing. So this is fine. This is all those little details there. And if you are playing with your jungler, you guys should always be looking to push. If you're winning and you have one winning side, you need to be looking to push vision into here and exert a lot of pressure. Pink River, exert pressure, force them to back off or set up dives.
Yeah.
That's what you always need to be doing. And the great thing about getting vision here first is that then you know where volley is. Because if you know volley is not in this side of the jungle, then you know they're on an isolated like bot lane as a the 80 carrying support. They're free as hell to kill.
Yep.
Like it's so free. Very, very big.
Yep.
Yeah, so just a lot of little details, man, honestly. And these things are all going to add up. And here, perfect example. Here, he didn't have flash. He got the kill, reset, come back. And this is where the trades get kind of sloppy, using the abilities on the wave. And when your abilities are down, he just trades onto you. When you could trade, you don't trade back, that sort of thing. You blow his flash again. First thing you should do is get pink wards. No, he doesn't have flash. Process that, because that's going to allow you to lean in between waves. Bang, bang, bang. Super easy.
Yeah, I need to lean using my pink ward, which I don't do. I waste a lot of time going the long way around.
You do. So yeah, and then it basically gets into mid game. So overall, I think that your snowballing needs a lot of work, and I think that's something you can talk about with your jungler using this session.
And say I'm playing solo. Yeah. Well, and I got 2 or 3 kills, good CS, decent CS, whatever. What's the snowball mentality there? Just keep going to the weak side? Because I can't really control the vision for them that much.
Well, again, if I had 2 or 3 kills and I'm 2-0 or 3-0, that sort of thing, same thing. I'm pinking the dot bush. Ideally, I pink the dot bush because then when I lean, I literally sit in the dot bush and then they have to respect. Same thing. And what I do, I spam ping flash timer, and I'll literally tell mid, gank mid. Free kill mid. I literally say that sometimes. Free kill mid. When I play Galio, Twist of Fate, I love saying that. Kill mid, free kill mid, gank mid, and I time the flash. I keep timing flash.
Yep.
and I pink for myself on the side that I think I'm going to generate the most kill threat. Both thinking about how much gank setup and how much gank follow up my two champions have, my AD carry and support, and more importantly, do they have cleanses, how immobile they are, etc. That sort of thing. And also, um, if I'm solo, again, I just take control way earlier in the game. I try to, as soon as I break mid tower, I say AD carry and support go mid. I ping, hardcore spam ping my ultimate cooldown. And sometimes I even say, give dragon, because I don't want to fight the dragon and I want to trade for tower. So give drag, trade for top tower. And I do that a lot as actually, I'm making a Nocturne mid video, and I do that a lot as Nocturne. When you don't have ultimate, I say just give drag. I'm playing for top tower.
Got it.
That sort of thing. But you do it way in advance. You got to do it like a minute in
Okay.
advance. You can't say it when it's like 30 seconds,
Okay.
something like that. And that's a few tips for soloing. But the same thing, as long as you're aware of where your jungler is, you can still do the fake threat thing.
Yeah.
You know what? It's the same thing. As long as you know that they're off vision, it's fine. The fake threat thing still works. It still works. But overall, man, your Twisted Fate's pretty solid. It's just little tightening up, and you're gonna really like. I think you'll easily get to platinum. Easily. I don't think you're
Yeah.
I don't think you're representative of the average gold player. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, my goal for this season would be to hit diamond. So if you have tips or, a goal
Hmm.
strategy sheet in mind of like steps to become like a diamond player, like that would be really good to know.
Well, the thing is, it's like one step at a time. Because what the way I actually view League of Legends is this: once you start implementing this stuff and you start to understand things like how itemization, flashes, threat actually works. So it's like the way I view it is this:
It's like a level up.
you don't know what you don't. It's like, yeah, you don't know what you don't know in a way.
Yeah.
So it's like once you start to realize, oh, holy crap, this feels so powerful. Then you're like, everything starts to click. It's like, ah, wait, I don't actually have to force anything. But if they don't have flash and we somehow blow flash, then this is going to allow, because I understand threat so well now. I'm like, oh, wait, that actually means I can kill bots so much easier than I thought. And then everything starts to like click over time. So you're not going to be able to jump from gold to diamond super quickly in terms of just like fundamentals. Like it's a gradual process where you start to discover things
Okay.
off like what we've learned
Yep.
today. And I think that, because then what you realize, a perfect example is this: if you understand your champion's identity and threat, once it gets to mid game like this, you're going to be thinking to yourself, why the hell am I grouping with a team who I have no threat onto this volibear? So why am I playing the fight like
Right.
this? You'll start to realize, and then you'll level up your game, and things will start to click over time. So the things that will take you to platinum, the things that you will discover at platinum, will take you to diamond. If you are playing with intention, you are playing a small champion pool. You're really focused, really focusing intensive gameplay, and you refer to my videos, and the stuff you see in my videos will actually make more sense as well. Because when you see my videos, they'll be good and they'll give you a lot of information, but a lot of it it won't resonate because you don't know the feeling. You don't know the feeling that doing those actions gives you.
Okay.
Because I believe League's a feeling game. It's a feel thing. It's like, that's why I hate Reddit analysts, because they don't know shit. At the end of the day, like, you can know all you want about theory, stats, and numbers, but if you don't feel it and know the feeling, then it won't translate. So that's what I'm saying. Start to apply my stuff. The start from my videos will also start to make a lot more sense. And then, yeah, you're on the right track, man. I honestly think after this session, review this session a few times, you're really going to be doing, tighten up all those things, and you're going to be absolutely popping off, man.
Awesome.
Especially those lane fundamentals. Really focus on those early lane
That's gonna
fundamentals.
be my
Okay, I
first
want you to
step.
be, yeah, you have to. If step one in your every single review that first 8 minutes of the game just for lane. I want you to focus all your trading. If you're winning a trade, if you're losing a trade, why is that the case? Why did you win that trade? Why are you really low here? Why are you sitting on this amount of gold? All these sorts of things in the first 5 to 8 minutes. If you can fix that up, tighten that up with some of these other concepts, you're going to be absolutely popping off. All right,
For sure. For sure.
brilliant.
All right, man. This was awesome.
Thank, thank you so much, Kanal, and keep me updated. I want to hear back from you.
Yeah, I'll absolutely message you on Discord and stuff like that. But this was
Love it.
really, really helpful. Thank you so much.
No problem at all, man. And I'll see you around the YouTube comments and I'll see you around the Discord.
All right, man.
Catch you later, man.
Have a good one. See ya.
You too. Bye.